Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Dr. John Poothullil on the line, and he's author of Diabetes, The Real Cause and the Right Cure, 8 Steps to Reverse Type 2 Diabetes in 8 weeks. John, welcome to the show.
Adam, thank you for having me, and I thank our listeners.
So excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to talk a little bit more about, what's going on with the coronavirus and also what people with type 2 diabetes should be thinking about. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into your book. So I want to get into this book. So Diabetes, The Real Cause and the Right Cure, 8 Steps to Reverse Type 2 Diabetes in 8 weeks. What was the inspiration behind this book?
While I was in practice, I found out that the incidence of type 2 diabetes is increasing not only in this country, everywhere in the world, in developed countries as well as developing countries. If you take United States, for example, 1.5 million new type 2 diabetes cases are detected every year. Wow. By the year 2030, we will have 55 million people with type 2 diabetes. Now, the convention is that we are becoming insulin resistant. How can that be everywhere in the world? So I did not like that concept. So I delved into it deeper, and my concept is different. That is what I am presenting in my book. And the importance of that is there is a way we can reverse it.
And so I want to go a little bit further down that path of what the misconception is and what you found that's different, because there's a lot of people listening right now, business owners, entrepreneurs, executives. I mean, just with the mass of what you mentioned in terms of numbers, like I feel like everybody either knows somebody that has type 2 diabetes or their family's indirectly affected by it, and they're all told one thing. So what is some of the things that you found that were kind of different?
The difference is off the top. Suppose you are resistant to an antibiotic. Will the doctor give you that antibiotic to treat?
No.
No. You are told you are diabetic, type 2 diabetic, because you are resisting insulin in your own body. Then what does the doctor give you?
Insulin.
Insulin.
Never thought about it that way.
Now, if you take insulin, sure enough, your blood sugar goes down. So blood glucose level is lower. Where did that sugar go? Did that go out of your body? No. If you check your urine, that's the only way any water-soluble nutrients such as glucose can get out of your body. If you check your urine, you will not see glucose. What happens is insulin instructs your liver to convert that glucose into fat. This is why most people, soon after they start insulin, they start gaining weight, because the liver has converted that glucose into fat. But if you measure blood glucose level, you are fine, your A1C is fine. However, you are going to have the same complications as before, even if you keep the A1C below 7 for years and years. So if insulin is a lifesaver, how come you are still having complications? Exactly the same complications as those who don't have medications. So this is what got me interested in pursuing type 2 diabetes.
Wow, that's I've never heard it put that. I guess when you hear, when I don't have it, but I know friends who have, and when you put it that way, it's like it is very clear that there's got to be some alternatives there. So I love that, and I do want to spend some time though, so I do want to change this up a bit, and I wish we had more time to go into just the book, but at the end of this, I definitely we'll talk about where listeners can go and pick that up also to learn more. But I do want to get more into what people with type 2 diabetes should be thinking about right now as as we're in the middle of this pandemic in 2020. Where do you want to start with that one?
Well, let us see. There is no question that people with type 2 diabetes are having a lot of problems because of the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the question is why? According to the experts, well, let me back up a little bit. In February 2020, more than 44,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases were found in China, but death among patients who had diabetes was 7 times higher, 7 to 8 times higher compared to those without an underlying condition. So, they asked diabetes experts, why? Of course, many of them already have an underlying health condition, whether it is hypertension or cardiovascular disease, but that can make the effect of the disease worse. That will not make them more susceptible to virus. Then the experts came up with the idea, well, there is an impairment of immune system in people with type 2 diabetes. But my question is, what kind of impairment? If you have an impairment of the immune system, either it is overactive, in which case you will have autoimmune disease, or it is underactive, in which case you should have evidence of repeated infections. But I don't see that. But I have a different explanation. That is, let's back up a little bit. What does your immune system do? It detects an infective agent, a virus or a bacteria, and tries to destroy the agent. What if the production of that agent or the multiplication is faster than the immune system can take care of? It creates an illusion of impairment. Actually, what is happening is the virus or the bacteria is being produced at a faster rate than what the immune system can take care of. And this, I think, is what is happening in type 2 diabetics. Now, can I explain why I think like that?
Yes, please.
Once you breathe in the virus, the coronavirus, it is spread by droplet. Somebody who has an infection, when they breathe, when they sneeze, they cough, they spray the area, and if you breathe that into your nose or sinuses, this virus has a hook. It hooks onto the cell lining the nose and sinuses. Then it literally has a drill to drill a hole into the cell because it does not want to destroy the cell, but it wants to get inside the cell. Once it is inside, it takes over the protein production line of the cell. Every cell produces thousands of protein molecules every day, every minute, every hour. Protein production is going on. It takes over the line and instructs the line to produce copies of the virus. Once that cell is filled with virus particles, it bursts out and then goes into the lung. Now, in order for the line to be active, the line needs two things. One, energy, and that energy comes from glucose. Then it needs a promoter to keep the workers, which are enzymes, active. When blood sugar goes up, that stimulates the pancreas in your body to release insulin. And insulin promotes all kinds of cell activities, including virus production. Because insulin it doesn't make any moral judgment. All it wants to do is to promote any activity. So pretty soon, a person with type 2 diabetes have more coronavirus in the nose and sinuses. They come down into the lungs and start infecting the lungs, and you are in trouble.
Oh, man, that makes so much sense. And, John, I wish we had more time to go into this further. I mean, I know we just barely scratched the surface on what people should be thinking about that have type 2 diabetes, and I know we only touched the surface also in your book. That being said, we're about out of time, so if somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more about your work and also about your books, I know we only mentioned one today, but you have more than one. What's the best way for them to reach out or to learn more about your work?
They can check Amazon to buy the book, or they can check into my website, drjohnonhealth.com.
So drjohnunhealth.com. Perfect.
Correct.
Well, thank you again for coming on the show today and sharing more about your background, all the great work you're doing. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review in the Apple iTunes store. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us a review, or some comments on the video. I'd love to hear what kind of projects you're working on and what you're doing in your world. And John, thanks again for coming on the show.